Thank you, Chairman. Secretary Bessent, thank you for being here. Thank you for also clarifying some of the perils of Pillar 2. This is a tough discussion. To be able to push back on what Pillar 2 could ultimately do, where we are losing so much revenue to foreign countries, that's the exact opposite of what took place in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, where companies through the foreign-derived intangible income was actually encouraged to invest back in the U.S. And we haven't seen the type of inversions that took place during many of the Obama years prior to 2017. Companies are repatriating their revenue and they're repatriating their support back into the U.S., and we're going to continue to do that. Sir, again, thank you for being here. There's no question that there are billions of dollars worth of waste within the federal government, and I applaud the work that the department is doing to address, in particular, improper payments and improve verification before payments go out. Those are sensible, very bipartisan opportunities that we can address here, and thank you for putting a lot of focus on that. I represent Ogden, Utah, and the 7,000 IRS employees that work in and call Utah home. In talking to my constituents, many of whom are federal employees with decades of experience, I found that they want to be part of improving efficiency at the IRS. They know their jobs better than any of us, and I'm concerned that the on-the-job experience is not being utilized to its potential. Very simple. Sir, we've had some amazing opportunities to interact, and I've appreciated all of that with you and your team. Can we continue? Can we sit down with you and your team and discuss the specifics of the Ogden facility and how I and the Utahns I represent can participate in increasing efficiency at the IRS?
Congressman Moore, I appreciate our past interactions, and my staff and I would be happy to do that. And what I will tell you is that we are aiming for a culture change at the IRS. We have empowered, we are cutting waste. There is a 35-year-old, maybe close to your age.
I wish.
The tech update where we are spending $3.5 billion per year, which is 10 times more than a private sector bank would spend for the equivalent payments. And what we are finding is that the hardworking people, as you describe in Ogden, are feeling empowered, and that's what we want them to do. We want them to provide the solutions, not for the solutions to be provided from up high.
I've walked through the systems with them, taken tours and stuff. They're excited about the particular technological improvements that we can make, and your investment and your focus on that is much appreciated. So. Okay, with my remaining few minutes, let's try to correct some of the fallacies we've been hearing about the One Big Beautiful Bill and its effect, in particular, on national debt, something that I'm very passionate about. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these statistics. Since World War II, the average annual real GDP growth rate sits at approximately 3.15%. In the last 10 years, even with COVID, the average is still at approximately 2.5%.
Yes, sir.
Those are the facts that I have here. The bill that the House Republicans passed assumes a 2.6% growth rate, and that would generate $2.6 trillion over the next 10 years. With the spending cuts, historic spending cuts that we've done, ranging in about 1.6 cuts and other offsets, that assumed growth rate is enough to offset the tax cuts provided to the middle class through this bill. In fact, it will actually reduce the deficit by an assumed $184 billion. Some quick yes or no's on those numbers. Do you think that with President Trump's deregulatory policies coupled with the tax policies of the One Big Beautiful Bill, that this 2.6% growth rate is possible to achieve?
I think it is possible, and we achieved it under President Trump's first term, and I think we could easily see it over the 10-year window at an average.
And do you think it's possible that we could actually exceed a conservative 2.6% rate?
Yes, sir. I believe that given this gigantic AI spend that we're seeing, that the productivity increases from that may hit the U.S. economy within the next 12 to 24 months and could accelerate our GDP growth.
Accelerated GDP growth, and do you think that my colleagues from the minority party are correct when they say that the bill will add trillions of dollars to the national debt?
I believe that they are mistaken.
Just to close here, it is not unfair for my colleagues on the Democrat side to use CBO scoring in any type of criticism. I did it with the CBO scoring of the American Rescue Plan. I just wish we could keep the argument to where it should be. We are assuming what I believe is a reasonable 2.6% growth rate. The CBO's taking a lower percent. That's great. I think they're wrong in this case. And I think they always undervalue the potential that we have and the reality that we have from this type of economic growth policies. We have not seen revenues tank or dip since 2017 when we enacted these. We have an opportunity here to create a strong GDP, and that is the most important factor to being able to go and get after our debt to GDP ratio. Sir, thank you so much for the clarifications, and I yield back.